She won't let me because if I could, I would do the full Fu Manchu.
Ooh,
Fu Manchu.
Nice.
That
But
could be. Yeah,
My wife's not down for it.
There's some epic.
Who's more important, Nick? Us?
You're not wrong. Let's go that route.
Never corner
Nice
him,
knowing
sir.
you.
That's not fair.
I'm just saying, like, your wife can't grow a mustache, but we can.
Is she in the room, Nick? Is she in the room right now? By the way, Ryan, that intro could change if you feel like being more regular.
Wait, what? Oh, the intro. I don't know why. My mind went to when you said regular. I was like,
no.
I mean, I guess I do have to use the bathroom a lot, but geez, I didn't think we were talking about this live.
No.
We already did that on one episode with Paul.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you talking about?
No, you were there. Shout out to our Justice League long in the ass episode. It was mentioned in there.
That was crazy long.
Side note, Ryan, dude, we literally any scenes at all that I showed of that movie were completely blocked our video, like blacked it out. Like it wouldn't. I tried clicking on it privately, and it wouldn't let me watch anything. It was black, like blacked out, and there's a notification that comes up on the screen that says, "This content has been blocked by Warner Brothers." We're like, "Oh snap!"
Yeah. Even with us talking over it, that's crazy.
Even talking, no audio, just the scenes. It didn't matter.
Not 20 strikes.
Not actual strikes. Just copyright mark. It flagged it.
Yeah,
and it flagged it. Here's the thing: I got copyright stuff that gets flagged, but it still is viewable.
That one just was like, no.
It means I can't monetize it. WB was like, nah, bitch. We're not even going to let you show this. It doesn't matter if you make money or not. You can't even show it. My rant that I just went through, I'm going to keep because I want our listeners to understand the troubles that we went through to try to get
the public needs to know.
The Nerdentials cut of the Snyder cut of Justice League. We did a 2.5-hour episode, so anyone that hasn't checked it out, check it out. Audio, at least. Go listen to the audio. Our faces, hit or miss if you like it, but there's not a lot of other content other than that. So listen to the audio. Definitely good for long drives. Super excellent. But today, guys, welcome to Nerdentials podcast episode 106. Yeah, that's right. If you're coming back after a long stay away or lack of our content over certain holidays, because I'm sure we've missed a few weeks, guys, we're in the triple digits. It's 106. And tonight we are going to cover the round table of 3 topics. I promise you that's not a false promise. I'm going to get better at that because we are planning our content prior to recording. It's actually a huge thing we're trying to improve on. So that being said, let me introduce the cast for tonight real quick. I'm your host, Joe Tweeden, as usual, more often than not. And joining me across the way, the recently handicapped, no slight against those that are, but one of our hosts who's very regular. I'll let him explain it as our cast happens. We have Mr. the Nick Thomas. Welcome, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. I know you're on a couch like normal, but what's the short of it? The what is the TLDR? The too long didn't read?
Yeah, I'm on the couch more often right now than I usually am. Supposed to have my leg elevated, and I do right now. It's on a stool
sir.
With my leg elevated with a pillow underneath it.
You got in a fight with the leprechaun.
It was a flight of stairs.
Even worse.
Yeah. No, I tore my calf muscle in my left leg and created a significant hematoma. For people that don't know, it's a collection of blood that pools underneath the skin and in the muscle. But this one was rather big, and the nurse's exact words when she looked at it after doing the imaging on it, they're like, "Well, when you do something big, don't you?" It was 9 centimeters long, which for people that don't understand, this is a 7-inch phone, so 9 centimeters is roughly from there to there.
Almost the length of your average phone.
That's nuts, dude.
Yeah. And that's the most painful part because it's just a swelling of blood in between my muscles, causing a lot of pressure on the leg.
Hashtag welcome medical nerds to the Pop Culture Podcast, if you weren't ready for that. But hey, dude, I'm glad you're able to call in at the very least. Yeah. Even with that injury, our thoughts go out to you, sir. Truly. Third host for the night, third and final. We have our reoccurring, almost regular member, the Ryan Kuhn joins us tonight. Welcome, sir.
Hello, guys. How's it going?
It's going quite well. I'm glad you were able to join us. We do have... I got cats running wild in my background. I apologize, listeners. If anyone's confused by the sounds, we do have and are gonna stick to it this time. A variety hour, if you will, hour slightly plus, perhaps, depending on the conversation. Guys, movie, TV, and a little bit of video game conversation. I do want to throw this out there. Quick housekeeping, some new things you guys need to know if you're new to the podcast. One, first off, if you're hearing this on audio only, welcome to the podcast. Secondly, there's a crazy video version of this on YouTube. If you were discovering us over audio, super excited to welcome anyone back who missed us over the last year and a half during some of our hiatuses. We are trying to get back to a regular weekly schedule. That is the goal, always has been. So welcome back, all you listeners. But if you've only heard us here, we are on YouTube. Nerdentials on YouTube. We got a lot of gaming videos, review videos, trailer reactions, and the podcast itself is recorded in video form, so check it out there. And I would say probably the biggest thing that I'm trying to mentally segue back into remembering is, our biggest new silly thing is, aside from YouTube Shorts, which is a thing competing with so many other platforms, we do have actually a TikTok, guys. So if you are TikTokers and you happen to know us from YouTube or podcasting, go look up Nerdentials on TikTok. That's exactly all it is. Just type in Nerdentials on TikTok and you will find at least our first 9 videos of comical gameplay. We do plan on updating that with eventual short news and more comical gameplay. So more of the same with a little bit extra. Check that out. So all of this can be found, however, at that one simple place called nerdentialsmedia.com. Only Matt and Nick are aware that when I pause long enough, they need to do that, and Nick almost forgot. But thank you for remembering, sir. It's a silly, stupid, I will say it's stupid, but silly, and we'll remember it years from now as being like, I remember we used to do that. Anyway,
guys, I remember the old commercials.
The old commercials, yes, you do. Right on, sir. Long time ago. That being said, guys, that's we'll shout out other additional things at the end of this episode, and as always, links in the description below if you're on YouTube or podcast. That being said, guys, we have 3 huge topics to hit. number one definitely being Movie Matters. Guys, welcome to Movie Matters. Today we're going to cover two huge films that, well, a little late to the game as far as the internet is concerned. I know, we're never on time with the internet. And if you've been a devoted follower, subscriber, or listener, you'll know that to be true. Sorry about the low standards. We are working on it, but just the same.
I'm late to everything anyway.
Well, people, just to let you know, it's not a matter of low standards. It's a matter we've had such high standards that we waited.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of time that we wanted to make sure everyone could be involved. Unfortunately, we still can't have everyone involved, but we have more than just me and Joe passing back and forth the information.
That's part of it. Absolutely. We didn't want just one or two voices.
We wanted surprised it's only us.
Yeah. No, these movies definitely, because how big they were, I think definitely require a little bit more conversation. So that's why I'm glad we have more people here.
And Ryan, we want to thank you especially. Like, I wanted you for sure, dude, in this with our topics today. Not just have an extra voice, but you are becoming slowly a regular Nerdentials host. I will still call you a Nerdentials host, but as the weeks go by, you are becoming that regular, and we love that. So, Nicholas, I have the films posted in chronological order they were released. Do you agree with that direction of conversation? Shall we talk about the monsters that go bump under the earth first?
Interesting way to put it, but yes, let's do it.
It was cheesy and silly. It came out. That's how it is. We're live. I'm not going to change it.
He keeps talking about being regular and coming out. Just
so many
getting some subliminal messages here.
Weird social commentary that I'm not being intentional about. But my friends here think I am.
Yeah, I mean, I probably am. Who knows? I've left that ambiguous for so long.
Regardless, sir, I'll say that we need to just get things going.
I have a girlfriend. For anyone who's watching.
Nope, it's all good. You have clarified your personal status as such, and we'll leave it at that. That's good. Guys, first up, we're gonna. I think in post, just because I knew I wouldn't be ready for this. And with my little early monologue about how strict WB is about sharing their content, I'll post some still images as we're talking. It won't be in the live feed, unfortunately. But if you go to youtube.com, check out our channel, you will see some additional photos as we're talking about these topics. So I want to make that clear.
And in the link, just so people know and have a quick idea of what's going on, I'm pretty sure Joel put some links to the trailers.
Yeah, at the very least, you'll find the links in the description. And if, like I shouted out before, as a way of getting our TikTok seen, I may do some quick advertisement shorts on TikTok if you happen to be following us there. But guys, without further ado, I think one of the biggest titles that a lot of nerds were looking forward to at the beginning of this year, once we found out HBO Max was going to release these same day as limited theater release, we were going to see our big monster flick coming on the cusp of let's just lay this out there. We had King Kong, we had Godzilla remakes happening only a few years ago. Then we had Nick, what were the sequels to those?
Well, we had the
monsters.
Yeah, we had
for
Godzilla. Godzilla, King of Monsters,
Kong Skull Island. Was that the
Kong
first
Skull-
one? Actually, that's where we found
That
Kong.
was number
of
one.
the new version of Kong. Yes,
Right.
The Peter Jackson one isn't actually in this universe.
It's very separated. Yeah.
They just use the name Skull Island and Kong because that's always been in his mythology. But it is definitely separate because just looking at the two beasts, one is like a traditional style gorilla.
Yeah.
And the other one is like the love child of a gorilla and
As big as Godzilla.
Sasquatch.
Oh, yeah.
With the size.
With gigantism.
Size-wise, yeah.
Kaiju status.
So we had Kong Skull Island, we had Godzilla, then Godzilla King of the Monsters. We didn't get a straight Kong sequel yet, did we? This is his returning act, or did we get one more?
No, this is his return.
Okay.
Godzilla vs. Kong.
I was like, I think we missed one more, but this is the one we're talking about right now. We'll say it right now. Should have said it earlier. Kong versus Godzilla. This is the man. I will say this though, guys. Over the last 10 to 20 years, when you see remakes and then you see a versus video, one, it's going to be epic, and two, it's going to be a 50-50 chance of whether or not you love it, because remakes, at least for the last 20 years, have always had a small, like, are they going to do it justice? Is it?
Yeah.
And it's always a cash grab most of the time. And they still are, regardless of whether they do good or not. It's always a cash grab for the studio.
Yeah.
But in that, you're like, oh, man.
Nostalgia sells.
Nostalgia does sell, and that's why remakes are huge right now. And then the versus part is always a bigger cash grab than anything else. Like, what was it?
Yep.
Freddy versus Jason. Oh, almost 10 years ago, we got a Freddy versus Jason after those horror franchises went forever and ever, and then we finally got a versus. And we're not commenting on that right now.
I don't want to.
No, let's not. So let's talk about.
I'm sorry. I have to stop you right there.
Okay, sorry.
You're thinking 10 years.
Yeah, that's
Freddy vs. Jason was 2003.
Yeah.
God, I know. We're old, Nick.
Dude, I was 10. I was 10 when that came out.
We're old as sin, man.
No, I
2003,
know.
I had turned 10.
Yeah.
Ryan, you're really dating yourself. We already feel old.
I feel young.
That's almost been 18 years.
Jesus.
Yeah,
I'm 28 this year, so
Yeah.
Me and Nick are like 35, 36 right now. No comment. Let's cover that, though. We're moving on. Yep, I know. We're still looking decent.
No, but we're going to the Godzilla vs. Kong. Yes.
They finally chose this moment to combine two monster worlds and
Big monkey
face off.
Last time we saw this was in the 60s, I think, with
where he shoves the tree in Godzilla.
Yeah, it was the original Toho series with Godzilla and Kong.
I'm going to rely on some of you guys for the nerd facts of older versions because I'm not quite caught up on the old stuff.
It's been about 18 years since I've seen them, so let's...
No, but dude, if you remember those, that's great because the whole point of this is comparing stuff that came out past our birth, our prime, our timeline. And Nick, you just said I think you have a good grasp of what they were doing. Yeah,
it was 1962.
My dad wasn't even born yet.
Yeah. These movies, we all loved them. I grew up on watching these things. I loved every second of them. The cheesiness, the campiness, the just rampaging through the bad dubs and the suits where you could actually see the zipper.
Yeah. Mecha Godzilla was my favorite one.
I know what you're talking about. It's crazy. The dubs, how inconsistent.
Oh my god,
they were.
Is he having a seizure?
I think so. Much like the people in the dubs.
Darn it. You are silly. Insane. Anyway.
No.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Now you ran Ryan off.
Ryan, where'd you go? There he is.
No.
Nick, go on.
But I love those ones. And I felt they did them justice with the technology we have now. To be able to better CG it. The acting was obviously a lot better.
No, it was.
And it was not just a nostalgiasm. It was my childhood coming to fruition, watching these and actually seeing this on what was intended for a big screen, but obviously we can't go because of the whole COVID crap. But being able to watch it was powerful, and I got to watch that with my kids.
Yeah, it's kind of like how it's like, generations, and their kids, they'll show their kids if they ever have them. I won't have any kids, so it'll be on you, Nick, and you, Joe. Or actually, yeah, I forgot my camera switches the sides.
Yeah.
You have the potential for adoptive. I'm just throwing. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's all good.
It's treason, then.
To each his own. It's all good. But
that's all right. He's just Uncle Ryan to my kids.
Yeah, Uncle Ryan for life. I'll be the crazy drunk uncle in the mountains.
You're gonna be Uncle Ryan to all our children. Just so you know, you got
everyone's uncle.
Got a lot of nieces and nephews coming your way, sir.
I've already got a few.
Yeah.
Anyway, though, so like that's a really good, Nick. That's a really good layout of where the past has done and what it leads to. I think each of us should I think it's a good spot to do kind of a spoiler-free review of how the movie did for each of us, since all of us have seen it.
Yeah, Megan, before we do the spoiler review, let's jump into some deets of the movie, and then we'll hit the review. Absolutely, dude. Go for it. All right. This movie was directed by Adam Wingard. Wingard? Yeah, Wingard. Yep. Yeah, he's actually most known for horror movies. He's done the VHS horror movies, which I like the first one. They're all pretty bizarre, kind of like anthology style. And he did horror. The 2016 remake of Blair Witch. Yeah. So he's most known for stuff like that and a little bit of TV stuff here and there. But I felt he did a pretty good job because he's used to creature features and stuff like that. Yeah, it makes sense. He's going big scale for what he's usually comfortable with, which is it's exciting for any director to kind of step outside of their box, but utilize what they are good at. Yeah, and a few of the main actors we had in this, Alexander Skarsgård played in here. Yeah, he was a lead character here. Millie Bobby Brown, our girl from Stranger Things. I love that she's doing more than just a show, because sometimes these kid stars get really big and known for the show, and then they kind of fizzle and don't do anything else. But she's crazy. She's or go crazy. I know, and Disney stars. We've actually covered a few of her movies and stuff she's done recently, and she's becoming a really great actress. Like Enola Holmes, she did great in that. Yeah, we got a review on our channel. Shameless plug. Yeah. A few other people were involved in this, like Rebecca Hall. I think she's most known from something movies like The Prestige and The Town, more drama-driven movies. Yeah, she plays secondary drama characters, but she did really well in this. Brian Tyree Henry was in here. Mm-hmm. Okay, Bernie, he played the conspiracy nut in this, where he's trying to expose. In this setting, we've got a government that's trying to figure out how to protect the world against these monsters, and this character Bernie, played by Brian Tyree Henry, did an excellent job of. He had a podcast. His own little podcast talking about conspiracies of what's going on,
but bringing the truth. And then we had freaking Millie Bobby Brown like being sucked up and one of those podcast fans that's listening to it. And she's the daughter of one of the lead directors from the previous film, Godzilla, King of the Monsters. And the mom, who was played by Vera Farmiga, she died in King of the Monsters, right, Nick?
Yeah, right at the end.
Sadly, yeah. And so this guy's a single dad who doesn't play a huge role, surprisingly. Super minor, but Millie Bobby Brown.
Kyle Chandler, yeah.
Yeah, but Millie Bobby Brown is playing this child who lost a parent to a Titan, aka Godzilla, or at least through the circumstances of the Titans, these different creatures, right? In the last movie.
Well,
and
her mom sacrificed herself to make sure that Godzilla could stop King Ghidorah.
Ghidorah, right? And that's kind of leads into a lot of what we're going to talk about here. Who else? Sorry, I wasn't trying to get super deep into it. But
I already have the solution for this entire thing, so I know how to stop the monsters.
Brian Tyree Henry, for people that don't know where they've seen him, he was in Hotel Artemis, which was fantastic, actually, and the TV show Atlanta, comedy drama series with Glover, the comedian.
Oh, Danny Glover.
Yeah, Danny Glover. Yeah, okay.
All right. Yeah, I forgot his music name.
Yeah,
Childish Gambino.
Yep.
Yeah.
But no,
he's good. Mm-hmm.
A lot of big faces in here. A lot of money was thrown at this. You could just tell by watching it. It was really well done.
Seriously, I know the answer. I know the answer to stop all the kaiju.
Let's get in this. How do we stop all the kaiju?
Okay, so, let's talk about.
Go ahead. I'll do it after.
No, you're fine. How about we give the overall premise of what this film is trying to do?
Oh, yeah. This is a while after the fight for Godzilla versus the King of the Monsters. This has apparently a few years have passed since this event happened.
That seems what it's supposed to be. Yeah.
All of a sudden, out of nowhere, Godzilla is running rampant and destroying cities, just tearing crap up, doing
totally
Godzilla
manners.
stuff. Yeah. That's adequate because they have to send someone else after him for the manners.
Yep.
And their logical way to stopping this is the one creature that they've been keeping secluded, and trying to pretty much preserve him so that he can live his life
like a zoo does.
Yep.
Natural pathology. Yeah.
Our boy King Kong.
They're
big monkey.
Yes.
Okay.
This
has
is technically the first time we've seen Kong in 40 years, because the other movie was back in the late 70s.
Yeah.
So Kong has had 50 years to grow.
Franchise-wise, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, the characters, they haven't aged 40 years.
I was about to say,
no.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that was when
Millie Bobby Brown didn't age 40 years.
No,
she's
the Kong
immortal. She has.
Yeah, the Kong Skull Island movie was based in the 70s, early 80s.
Right.
Right. It's been
my solution.
Okay.
And this is going to be reaching here. But we call up Marvel. And we get the best for fighting big monster, Hulk. He could have taken down Surtur by himself. He could have easily taken down Godzilla and King Kong. That's all I'm saying. Because, Godzilla, nuclear radiation fire.
Crossovers would have allowed
Big Green Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, we get one more crossover. We're good.
Crossovers would have allowed for that. But that didn't happen.
That's my answer. That's all you need. The Hulk.
Poison the world's banana supply.
It didn't happen, though. That's the problem.
Yet.
Yeah.
What happened for this one, though?
Yes.
Good.
So the whole premise of this movie is they go and get Kong to fight Godzilla in the epic battle of the century happens.
Yeah.
The thing about this one, though, dude, is it has some plot that I didn't expect.
Yeah.
Because this, and I apologize, nerds. I didn't watch this on the day it came out. and Nick's been scolding me for the last couple of weeks. I had literally watched this, no joke, only a few hours prior to recording this. So it's really fresh on my mind.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, as I think that our reviews are going to have a faceted time to stew over rating from Nick, and then it's going to have a more raw, straight off the bones of the barbecue from maybe me and Ryan.
I think Ryan watched it.
I watched it a little while ago, like before I watched Mortal Kombat.
Okay. Well, mine will be the freshest then.
Yeah.
And maybe Ryan will agree and disagree with a variety of our thoughts, but
that's kind of where I'm going with on this one. Like, I have a fresher memory of Mortal Kombat right now.
Oh, I'm excited to talk about that next, sir.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm actually at this very moment rewatching some of the fight scenes of Godzilla vs. Kong because I was like, I remember those are cool.
There was a lot of times before this movie came out, me and a couple of my friends would get into arguments about who was going to win and why.
There's a whole monkey has thumbs.
Yeah, there's that whole thing. It's just a big monkey and Godzilla shoots atomic laser beam breath.
Dude, the amount of people that are getting murdered in this fight scene right now, just from this sheer, like, everything else going on between.
Dude, we joke, back in the day about Power Rangers in the 90s and Marvel superheroes and, like, the whole concept of they don't care about the public and whether or not they're hurting anyone. This takes it beyond any complaints and says, this studio don't give a about anyone.
The mass casualties of this movie.
I was watching very closely at any time Kong slightly leaned into a building. I'm like, bam, multiple floors, just
a few families
ripped apart.
Every time a stray beam of fire goes through
every time a beam of fire flies through the buildings, anytime we'll get to this, anytime a certain metal someone is grabbing the head of an organic someone of lizard kind and, like, literally like a ring or a gang member just slamming his face into a wall, grinding his face through that wall. Every time that happened, it was another building. I was like, oh my God, the bloodshed in this franchise. I would like to pass it back to Nick so he can finish what he was saying.
Yeah.
No, you're touching on some important subjects right there. It's just a lot of people.
The casualties.
Yeah. Oh my God, so many. Marvel tried to cover it. Disney tries to show you they care, but holy shit, Warner Bros. Is like, no, y'all, you're just ants. You're ants being squashed under gigantic feet, and that's what we saw.
Yeah. No, the arguments for this fight, I want to say I was right and wrong at the same time.
I was absolutely right.
Because I know that the whole who wins, who losses, you will find it out for yourself. But I believe there's a tally on either side, on both sides, actually.
And we're being spoiler free. So sorry, dude.
Yeah,
I was almost ready to, like, divulge some crap.
No,
Nope, we can't. Nope, not yet.
And then that whole thought of what would he be even better than fighting against each other? Fighting together. Yeah. Maybe.
Like I said, they would.
It's that age-old concept of two heroes from two different walks of life that
clash initially, and then they can't take on this other thing.
Yeah. Have fans of their own, and then there's a greater threat that brings them together. And without, diving into the spoilers, we got the full platter of that. Go ahead, Nick.
No, and for me, I would probably give this. I'm going to go ahead and give you my rating.
Oh, here we go.
You're there. Because I don't want to spoil it. And we could start talking about this, and I would spoil everything.
I know. We could all do that.
We have other stuff to cover. So,
yeah, we got ratings. Here we go.
I thought it was fantastic. I watched it multiple times, and we'll probably watch it more times.
Yeah, same.
Even coming up soon. I would give this a solid 8.5. Out of 10.
I need to know the cons. Our audience wants to know your cons, why it's not
pros,
10 out of 10.
I love the acting on it. I love them staying within the continuity of the universe they created. That gets points on my side here.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I love when someone makes a universe of something we already know and love their own and sticks to the continuity of what they've created. And they did that very well. I felt that they did it very well. And the acting, of course, like I said, was a lot better than the Toho ones. I love seeing Millie Bobby Brown in movies. And
especially when she's given it, sorry, I know this is your rating, assertive action.
Yeah.
It's just like, yes, girl, get it.
Yeah. And then the con side of it.
The Kong side of it.
Sorry,
I'll mute myself.
They left the answer. They left it unanswered. Who would actually win? Because they didn't let it go all balls out to me. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to spoil that, but there is that whole question there, that who would win, who would lose. It's
the Freddy versus Jason conundrum, dude.
It's still there.
You have two franchises you're trying to duke it out, and not to call back a horrible iteration of this, but like the Batman versus Superman thing, certain people do it to get the viral activity. Here, let's slap two huge names together and say they're going to duke it out. And I don't care about spoilers. That was a complete fallout.
The movie was awful.
I'm sorry.
No.
Say,
agree.
That movie
Completely
was awful. This movie,
Freddy, and to be fair, Freddy versus Jason, while still not the greatest, did the same thing I think that this current franchise did. Shrugging shoulders, up in the air. We aren't we're not going to destroy anyone fandom, I think, is the angle that happened here.
I honestly think what happened here was the same thing that happened with Batman vs Superman. They did their little bit of fighting. They had to band together.
Okay.
And the only thing that was missing was Kong didn't look at Godzilla and say, "Did you just say Martha?"
Yeah. So the thing is with that, and it's the most stereotypical thing, is that you'll get two giants, not necessarily, I don't mean always just in size, just two giant powerhouses. You get them to fight each other just enough to weaken them up enough to where they couldn't take on this new thing by themselves. So they have to. The enemy is my enemy, and my enemy is my friend deal.
Right.
The most formulaic way they can go about doing these things.
Yeah.
Without also stepping on the toes of the fandom, saying, okay, now they win. But then they're like, no, if they did this and this and this, then this person would win. Or blah, 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 and then this. Because there's so much lore to these characters. Not just these characters, but every time they do this.
Anytime they do that, yeah. That was my point.
Like, what if this happened? It's like, no, it's up to the writer to decide who's going to win this time. It's not necessarily always canon. Like, these are two massively popular characters throughout history.
When it comes to movies and cinematics, they're not gonna let one win over the other, unfortunately, because there's just too much deep-rooted fandom when it comes to film. In comics, you can let one win and then make them wait, make the fandom stew, make them grunge and stew, and then bring back an alternative.
Yeah.
But in film, dude, there's just so many masses that come to it that you have to just create a draw. You have to create a draw when it comes to this.
And in no way, by me saying them not answering that question at being a con, am I saying I did not want to see the team up? Because I did.
It was awesome.
No, but there could have been a few things that they could have done to polish the movie itself. But other than that, that's why I give it an 8.5.
Personally, I'd give it a 9.
No, okay.
And I'm under the same exact reasoning.
Yeah.
The same exact reasoning of why I liked it. I just think, like, the reason that bumps it up to a 9 is the character design of the creatures.
Yes.
I think it was it was like being a kid again and seeing like this is seeing one of my favorite things there, and it looks so good. And the way they designed our newcomer, the new guy, I was like, oh my god, this is what I always imagined. Like, because you can see, even as a kid, you can see like on there, and you know what they want to accomplish, but then your little imaginations make it a little cooler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and then like, seeing this, I was like, this is it. This is exactly what I wanted it to look like.
Yeah, I'm glad they made him more humanoid than ape.
Yeah. And yeah, it was just like my con for it is a very minor thing. And that's like, there's certain parts of like with the little girl, you know, Kong's little girl. Like, I'm just like, okay, I get what you're doing here. Really trying to crank up that emotional human. Like, I get it. Stop hitting me in the head with it. I'm tired. I don't care. Show me monkey versus lizard. I'm ready. I don't care anymore. Let me see what I came here to see. Like, I get it. It's sad. She's a little girl. This is her monkey. Let's go. I'm done.
I'm not going to lie. I was really hoping that they would bring back the scene from the original one where Kong just grabs a tree and shoves it down his throat.
Yes. I mean, they kind of did it. They kind of did it with the axe.
There were moments.
I'll give them the call
I
back.
See what you're saying, Nick. I see what you're saying, Nick. There were moments that were close, like they didn't want to mimic it, but we were like, okay, we see, and then it doesn't happen. And you're like, fine,
yeah.
You know, as a nostalgic fan. So, mine's gonna be a little shorter than all of yours. Hopefully, I think. Just because I'm feeding off of everything that you guys have already said. And so everything that you guys have heard from Ryan and Nick, I want to throw this out there. My rating is pretty high on the enjoyment factor. Granted, it's fresh and recent prior to this recording, but I agree with everything that both of these guys have said regarding how they presented these bigger than life characters. And I do agree with Ryan on that human element. He depicted it perfectly by saying that he understands why they put that in there. It's to kind of get a little bit of the audience to make a connection with what's going on. And if it's just straight monster creature feature, you're not gonna get the mass audience that we know that this did. We know that this did get, and that we know that all the classic films before it got. For instance, the original Kong film had that element of him caring for that damsel in distress, that girl. It's kind of like the Superman films, the classic original Superman films where Lois Lane is that mortal woman, and woman being not even the most important part of it. The fact that she is mortal and could die instantly. I snapped my fingers just to express the concept of mortalness, fatality. It doesn't matter what you are, man, woman, child, or not, but just the frailty of that. Your frailty versus the monster is the concept that storytellers try to play on. And so when you look at concepts like Superman in the 1980s rescuing Lois Lane from a falling building, it's because he is a god and she is a frail, mortal human being, nothing else. You look at the concepts of this film, the mighty Kong and the deaf little girl who only communicates through sign language. And I thought one of the biggest things I want to say before giving my rating about this film that no one's mentioned yet, and it's not to like, oh, we need to cover this demographic. No, like, it's an artistic choice that they did this, and it blows my mind. It blew my mind as I watched it, and it's so fresh on my mind, is that it's not just the innocence and the frailty of being a child who has a relationship or connection to this gigantic monster. It's the fact that her innocence is amplified by the fact that she doesn't hear anything. She's deaf. She born deaf or became deaf upon the current age she's at. However it happened, she is deaf upon becoming friends with the gigantic stories, skyscraper-sized ape. Her being deaf, there are repeatedly scenes throughout the film where the director chose to show from her eyes silence, and it's like mind-blowing when you rewatch. After what I say, I challenge anyone who's only seen it once to rewatch it through the mindset of that girl, where all she sees is what she sees, and she doesn't hear anger, aggression, volume, anger, explosions, fear. All she hears is what she sees. And that was such an incredible, exciting, creative choice in my mind for that director to take a deaf girl who has a cool, intimate connection with our giant and be like, let's occasionally show what she hears when looking at him. And always, when you look at Kong in those moments while she can't hear anything, all you see are the eyebrows and the eyes. All you see are the movements of his eyes, and it's been proven in science and in captivity with apes. When you look at their eyes, there's genuine, ridiculously insane human emotion in their eyes as you are communicating to them through sign language. I know I went on a crazy tangent. No, hopefully this connects with some of our viewers by me talking about this, but we rewatched that movie and watched those scenes and actually focus on what the girl is seeing when it's silent. Because I was like, the movie is loud, it's epic, it's crazy, and in those 5 or 6 moments where it's just the girl looking at Kong that we know has an emotional connection with him because she taught him sign language. Kong learned sign language through that little girl. And in those moments, you look at his eyes and it's dead silent, and you're like, oh, this is not a movie theater error. This is a director choice. You're like, oh shit, all right, let's focus on his face for a minute in complete silence. Holy shit. So I'll say there's cheesy moments, of course, and this is my rating based on what I just said is not to outshine anyone at all. I'm gonna give a firm number of 9 out of 10 on this. It was not a masterpiece, but there was a lot of creative weight placed into this that, and hopefully Ryan and Nick, I can see through while I'm describing some of this about the silence.
I didn't think about it personally, and then I'm like, okay, yeah, no,
yeah, I know the silence, bro. It might, and you're welcome to change your rating. I'm not asking anyone to, but. No. But you can
no
ass. You can at least say no.
I agree. No, I agree with that. I didn't think about it, and I'm like, that point. Like there are some things that were a little too caked on, but like those shots particularly were good. Those were really good in that, especially in that context.
The connective moments,
because she's the audience insert character. She's she's the heart. She's what relates us to
the emotion.
The kaiju's fighting. Like, so I get, that's definitely. I'm not going to change my rating because, like I said, it's not necessarily a masterpiece, but it is a great fucking movie.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
it's definitely a must see.
So I think, we're right up there.
We got a significantly higher score from all of us nerds. So what we're telling you is, get out there and watch it.
Check it out.
Watch it where you can, when you can. I understand that. I know we got to it late. It's not available right now, but guaranteed wait a little bit. HBO Max, Warner Brothers will throw it back on the streaming service eventually.
Now, if you want us to do a deeper dive into this movie, because I have a lot of knowledge and stuff on the whole MonsterVerse.
Nerdy facts, guys.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments, and we'll talk about doing a deep dive into it.
Absolutely. And that kind of goes for anything. Shows, movies, games. You want a nice nerdy deep dive. All of us have spent enough time in most of what we talk about. Leave a comment down below, and most of us will be obliged to do so. But without further ado,
all right,
here we go. Nicholas, I'm going to pass it off to you. I'm fresh on the eyes of watching it, but I want you to introduce the next topic.
Let's go back in time to 1992.
92?
1992.
Oh, 92. The film 95.
Good gentleman.
Going further back.
Edward Boone and John Tobias.
He's going further back, guys.
Wanted to make a video game, first of its kind, but starring Jean-Claude Van Damme. No, really. At the time, that's what it was.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a Jean-Claude Van Damme fighting game.
Yeah.
That guy was the A-lister.
Unfortunately for everyone, it fell through and it did not work. Instead, they shifted gears and turned it into a fantasy-style fighting game and still paid homage to his character. The character Johnny Cage is actually modeled after Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Interesting, dude. Mm-hmm. After watching this, interesting.
Yeah. And then this is what Mortal Kombat was birthed from. And then in 95, we got the first movie?
95, and then 98 was the second one.
Yeah.
I believe.
95, we got the first movie with Christopher Lambert as Lord Raiden.
The best.
I loved his Raiden.
Mm-hmm. And then we had Annihilation in 2 years after.
Yep. And during the time, the graphics were awesome, but the acting, we all know it was not the best. Yeah.
The second movie was 97, not 98.
97. Yeah.
Sorry, thanks for the correction, sir.
I'm not going to lie. I still loved them. I've watched them multiple times and will probably forever watch them because it's Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. The first movie was fucking dope.
Now, fast forward to 2021. We get a new Mortal Kombat reboot movie with ties in the movie that go back hundreds of years in the game to the first initial death of much.
Go on. I'm trying to build the audience. Go on.
Well, anybody that's ever played the Mortal Kombat games knows there's been a heated feud between these two clans, the Lin Kuei and the Shirai Ryu. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah.
Go on.
It's so good. Continue. Go ahead. This is your spot.
But this movie, they put out a 7-minute sneak preview for everyone to see it, and it got me hooked, and I could not think of anything else for like the next week of wanting to watch this damn movie. And they did it on purpose. I know they did.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah. But Mortal Kombat follows the guidelines of a tournament that is between the multiple realms to decide whether or not they can invade another realm. Now, for one realm to invade and conquer another realm, they have to win 10 of these tournaments. This movie comes upon the cusp of the last 9th win by Outworld. And we get our new heroes to defend against the 10th tournament and everything that goes along with it. Anything else you want to add to the intro to that? So, description of what the movie is about without going crazy.
Yeah, I won't give any like major spoilers or anything like that. But this one does focus on a new insert character. Mm-hmm. This is like in the last movie. This is the audience's connection. This is a new guy that can give you kind of exposition because Mortal Kombat has, let's be real, they have one of the most convoluted lores of any video game out there. It is so crazy with just the different realms and the different types of bullshit that they've got. And it's great and all, but for the people who aren't initiated in Mortal Kombat lore, we've got a new guy named Cole. And he is a MMA fighter. So you kind of get to see this world that in this entire first movie is kind of like a world building for this actual tournament. You get to see all the stuff to start unfold around a guy who has no fucking clue what's going on. So it kind of puts him in the same seat that you are if you don't know what Mortal Kombat is. So most people who are going to see this movie know what it is. This is more for the husbands, wives, kids, or whatever that don't know Mortal Kombat. That's what Cole's here for. So it's kind of, it's an easy thing for developers to add for you guys to understand if you don't know it yet. That's really all I wanted to add to that. Is we got a new guy. His name's Cole.
This movie is kind of cool in the fact that they tried to make sure they didn't grab any crazy big name actors.
Yeah, I think they did pretty good about that too.
Yeah. Even the director isn't a crazy big name director.
Hey, this is his first film, isn't it?
Yeah, Simon McQuoid. Yeah. This is actually his first film. He'd done one other thing. It was a 1 minute short, a nighttime economy short is what it was called. It was like a little tiny short thing.
Yeah.
But that's all he's ever done. He came into this. He wasn't even a fan of the Mortal Kombat series. He just had a view for what he wanted to do with it and how he wanted to address it. And the studio was so enamored with how he addressed it, that they wanted to give him a chance. And during filming the movie, he became a fan of the series. Other actors in this, we have Louis Tan. He's probably one of the bigger named actors in this movie. And like you said, we get a character named Cole. There's a lot of speculation on who he was going to play. A lot of people thought he was going to play Johnny Cage. But he actually plays the character Cole. We've seen him in movies in the past, like Deadpool, The Blue Assassins. We've seen him in Den of Thieves, Iron Fist, Rush Hour. He always plays the mobster person that's martial artist. One of the big things that they tried to do in this movie, 90% of the characters, 90% of the actors that played in this movie have either been stunt doubles or have actual martial arts training. And they wanted to make sure that feel was felt throughout the movie, that it was competent fighters. And I felt they did a really good job on it.
I agree.
Other actors we have in this, actress Jessica McNaney. She's probably one of the few that probably isn't like what we just talked about. Where you've seen her most often, where you've seen her most often is she's been in a lot of TV series, but like The Meg with Jason Statham with the big gigantic shark.
Oh yeah,
she was in that. She was in Blackwater Abyss. So a lot of sea style movies. But she's mostly been in horror movies, it looks like. And some TV series. Then there is other faces we saw in here, like Joe Taslim. He's a big martial artist and has been around for a while. You may recognize him from movies like The Raid, Fast and Furious, Star Trek Beyond. He's been in a lot of things. And then probably the one character that I'm going to have to name, because I think Ryan would kill me if I didn't, would be Josh Lawson.
I follow him on TikTok. I love him. I followed him before the movie came out. And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. No, he is... Kano.
Where's he from? He's from Australia, right?
Yeah, I think he's Australian.
Yeah. He plays as a character that has been in the series for a long time. I think that his character came in the second game.
First game.
First game? He was actually in the first?
Very first game. He wears a white jumpsuit, and he has the metal eye. no background given about him. Really, it's just like, here's Kano.
Yeah, he plays the character Kano, and honestly, there's a lot of memes going around that one of the ones that made me laugh was
fucking movie.
Yeah, one of the ones that laughed was like actor who played as Kano was hospitalized for injury to his lower back from carrying the whole Mortal Kombat franchise on his back.
Yeah, no, he wasn't supposed to be the star of that movie, but he goddamn well was the best fucking part.
Yeah, I loved him.
I loved him. He was great. Josh Lawson did spectacular.
I agree. And then anybody who watches the show Supergirl, Mikad Brooks, who plays as Jimmy Olsen in Supergirl, actually gets to play in this movie as a character who's been in the series for a long time, Jax.
Yeah.
There a lot of these character picks had me wondering: are these good ideas? Are these really going to be good fits for them? Especially the last one I just mentioned. And up until one scene in the movie that I'm not going to say what happened, up until that scene, I wasn't sold. But as soon as that hits, I'm like, all right, that makes sense now. Yeah.
No,
that's Jax.
I'm pretty sure I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah. No, but the character development in this was something that they tried to do that they didn't do in the other movies, and they tried adding some drama behind it to go along with the epic fight scenes. This was so well choreographed. I cannot believe I did not mention who played the Scorpion.
Yeah, I was like,
I just realized that.
Gloss over the Ed Boon's favorite and my favorite character.
Yes.
I mean, I'll forgive you this once, but I'm going to fatality you at least 30 times at the next fight night.
Hiroyuki Sanada plays as
Hanzo Hasashi.
He is a veteran in martial arts movies, just movies in general. He's been in everything, and he's always a great actor and usually steals the scene in whatever movie he's in. We've seen him in stuff recently like The Wolverine. We've seen him in Westworld. Seen him in other stuff, like he was even in Avengers. But you look back in some of his history, he played in 47 Ronin.
Yeah, I remember him there. I don't remember him in Avengers right now. I can't place him. And that's weird because he's a very he looks like him. Like there's no mistaking him for someone else.
He's got a very definitive face. You see him, you know who he is. He was in The Last Samurai. That one of my favorite movies, Last Samurai, with
the OG weeb of all time.
Yeah,
I love that movie. I'm not gonna lie.
But other than that, he's got a very storied history in martial arts movies, and he's got the face that requires him to be in martial arts movies.
Yeah, he looks like the Grandmaster no matter what he's in.
Yes, and he's badass in everything he does, and he knows what he's doing.
He looks like, if you cross him, you're going to get your ass beat.
Yeah. I'm hoping in the next movies to come, we see more of him.
I hope so too, and this movie kind of has me on edge about that. So, we'll get into that in a second. Let's. Is there any other? Are we missing any actors?
There's a lot more actors in it, but those are the ones that
the important ones, though. Mm-hmm. We got everybody.
Unless you want to name Raiden.
I don't actually remember who played him. Basically, Shang Tsung's here, Raiden's here. It's Mortal Kombat. It's awesome. The best fight scenes you can imagine.
I love the actors' choices for it.
I was skeptical at first, but turned out pretty cool.
I read some stuff on the director's idea on it. His big thing when he addressed it is when he thinks of Mortal Kombat, he thinks blood.
Yeah.
And then when he thought blood, he wanted to dive into that in more ways than just blood and gore on the screens. And he thought blood means family. Blood means ties that bind and everything like that.
Yeah.
And he actually went through this whole long interview where he was talking about it. And he cemented that theme in this movie. And I felt it was actually rather ingenious that he did it.
I would have to concur entirely with you there. It's not just on the family part, but also the fact that if you go back to MK9, there was literally a blood counter of how many pints of blood you've spilled. Like blood from bloodlines of the characters to the actual pints you're spilling of your enemies. Blood is the most important thing in Mortal Kombat.
Yep. And I'd have to actually say that for the first time with a Mortal Kombat movie, they did a very good job of matching the brutality of the games that we're so in love with.
I would agree.
Yeah, dude.
Welcome back.
They also did a big job of trying to pay fan service to the fans that have been following the series for so long. There's little segments throughout the whole movie where you hear taglines from the games. You hear there's sometimes where you should have heard a tagline and you're like, they missed an opportunity.
Yeah.
But the ones that you know and love, they're there.
Like some of them sound cheesy, but going into this isn't a majorly serious film. This is a fun fight movie, and it's like, thank you for just throwing that in there. I don't even care. It was good. It was good.
Of course, it's going to be cheesy. They're the freaking martial arts wizards.
Undead.
Yeah.
Undead.
Oh my god.
Martial arts wizards, four-armed beasts.
But I can honestly,
it was in the trailer.
Yeah,
I think the biggest one, Nick.
What?
It was in the trailer itself.
Yes. But I can honestly say that the cheesiness was there on times it was needed, and it wasn't saturated with cheesiness that the other movies were.
That's the other thing. They threw it in there, but they didn't marinate on it. They let it be what it was for a moment, just to catch fans in their, left wing upper afters. The rafters of their freaking showing. I heard that. But it wasn't, like you said, it wasn't like, oh my god, they won't put it down. They're going to continue using it.
They didn't keep calling attention to something. It was just, hey, this is here. We're moving on.
It's a one-time thing, dude. Literally, right? Yeah. Like you said, on the nose. And the one Nick's talking about, I'm just going to be real subtle with this one, not to spoil anything, but like a certain fiery individual who had a legacy meant to fight against the icy brinks of another said something along the lines of "get over here" in a really gravelly, wow, in your face moment.
They missed one thing on that they should have done. They should have had Ed Boon do it, because even though Hanzo Hasashi's voice in the games has always been different, it's always been Ed Boon's voice saying, "Get over here." No matter what. Even though he's not the voice actor for Scorpion, but he's always done the "get over here."
Yep.
No, and that makes you the hardcore, sir. No shame.
This is my shit.
Yep.
There's like two video game franchises, Resident Evil and Mortal Kombat, my entire life.
All the Mortal Kombat movies up until this point have followed Liu Kang as the main character.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they gave us a little exposition by not doing that, but still had him there.
I love the connection, dude. Like the brothers, and then the transition over, tragedy, the transition through tragedy of certain characters. And I had no idea, like, from someone who doesn't know the true grassroots origins of a lot of this, that'll be me. I'll throw myself under the bus on this. But, like, you talk about things like Kano, Sonya Blade and stuff like that, and you're just like, okay, I understand like the franchise position they hold, but I'm really curious if they're gonna do like a justified, truly like, okay, cool, badass origin story for those characters. And from a non-long-term fan, from someone who doesn't know the ins and outs of all those characters, I want to throw this out there and see what your counter feeling is about my unique interaction, since I don't have history with this. I don't have history with Mortal Kombat. I know the history of the game, but the history of the characters. I want to get your reaction on this.
So most of the characters don't really have a really fleshed out back. Like there's the industry favorites, you know, Scorpion, Sub-Zero,
right.
Liu Kang, Raiden. They have built-in lore, like stuff that's been developed over years.
Yeah.
But then there's other characters like
Sonya
Nitara.
Blade, who didn't have a mark, and then
Sonya's the whole mark thing is a director add-on, like the story writer. That has nothing to do with Mortal Kombat.
Right. Honestly, the inclusion of Arcana was the director's choice just as much as Metachlorians were.
Yeah, basically that. Sonya Blade's thing, she's a super soul, like not super soul, she's a special forces soldier. She just happens to be able to shoot a thing out of her arm, and that's just how it's always been. It's just the less you question it, the better this game is.
Well, and actually, in rendition to the game, she actually has a shooter on her arm.
Yeah, like on the newer ones, she has stuff. But
so how does that affect your opinion on what they did with the movie versus the game?
That's where my rating for it kind of went down a bit. I don't like the inclusion of Arcana. I get it, but it's like Nick just said, it's the midichlorians thing, and it's unnecessary. Right. My suspension of disbelief doesn't need that to explain, like, there's an undead skeleton running around in yellow and black ninja armor trying to kill an ice guy. I don't need to know he has some magical dragon tattoo on him. I don't care about that. I just want to see cool fights. So to me, it kind of murdered a bit for me.
Speaking of that, dropping your rating a little bit, what would your rating be, right?
7.5.
7.5.
I've had this since I saw it.
Pros and cons.
Quick pros and cons. Quick
pros and cons. That intro fight, phenomenal. Absolutely amazing.
Oh,
blew my mind. I was like, yes, this is what I wanted to see. Sucked me right in. Cons. Cole's kind of a bitch. Cole's kind of a bitch. His Arcana is stupid. He got Black Panther. He's Black Panther in that part. Won't tell you what that means.
Sad for anyone that does know.
It leaves a couple different things, but he's basically Black Panther right there. I don't like him that much. He's basically just an exposition dump. That's all he is to me. Ooh. And I know why they picked him. And another thing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to explain because it's a spoiler, but his connection to another character kind of besmirches the lore of that character a little bit. I'm not going to spoil it. But other than that, he did have a pretty cool fight scene. The other two things that make the reason why it's 7.5 is they turned one character that's always been classified as a jobber in the series, and he's the one that Kano kills in the beginning. Man, you can't be disrespecting one of my boys like that. Because he, at least in the first movie, had one of the greatest fight scenes.
I'm sorry. I must stop you there, actually, on that one.
I know what you're going to say. And,
one of them.
In this current movie, he's the one that they have, and they disrespected him like that. I know that there's more, but we don't want to talk. We don't spoilers with this. Second, you can't have the second to last boss also be a jobber character. Comes in and no grand entrance to him. This is a guy who has regal status.
Evaluate his context, and then tell me if you have a counter.
I'll just tell you who this isn't a major, because that this takes place in the first tournament, so Goro's going to be there. He's supposed to be in the first tournament. Goro deserves a grand entrance, not, oh, hey, Goro, how's it going? And then just cut to the fight. You can't do that. You gotta give he's this big, intimidating force. He's something to be afraid of. You can't just have him like, I'm here, and then cut to a fight scene. Like, no, I want to see this the scare. Like in the first movie, you had him fight Art,
right?
And you're like, oh shit, Art's gonna have to fight this guy. He's not gonna stand a chance, and he's like, going on the ropes, and you got Ed's theme playing in the background. And it's boss. It established the character, and that's where it draws it down to a 7.5 for me. Other than that, that movie was awesome. It's still a must see. But there's a lot of improvements that could have been made. And I will forgive a bit because this is the director's first movie. So that's why it's the 0.5.
All right. I would like to make one thing. I actually read into the director's thoughts and stuff on the character you just said you had an issue with and his powers. And I actually read this after I watched it the first time. And then I watched it again and again and again. And it made sense after I read it. And you might actually go through and look at it this way afterwards.
All right, try me.
All right. His armor has the same pattern as the wrapping of the handle of the ancestral kunai.
I saw that. I thought that was a cool thing.
And they did that on purpose as the kunai is a manifestation of Scorpion's powers.
Yeah. It's the symbol of his clan. That's the reason why he's called Scorpion even before he dies, to become Scorpion. Because he was considered the Scorpion because he was proficient with the rope dart as the head of the clan. Yep. So I agree with it. That's the cool part. And the fact that it spawned from the bracelet his daughter gave him, too. I thought that was really cool. I just don't like the ability of it.
Yeah.
I think it looks cool. It could have been cooler.
His whole thought on it was the whole blood thing again, where that his clan is protecting him.
I have to agree there. I do love that. And I definitely got that part from it. I just, given Scorpion's powers, you'd think that, he'd have something a little closer to the Shirai Ryu's specialties.
Well, and that's the thing. We don't know the end of that yet.
True. He could develop more, especially in the next movies.
Yeah, who knows? In the next movies, he'd be trained by Scorpion.
Yeah. I'm really hoping the way that ended, it just seemed a little final to me. I'm hoping it's not, because we still have Kuai Liang. We still have to come back as the new Sub-Zero. We still have, because, in the way this set it up perfectly for the next movie, for the tournament being the way it is. Because we needed this to happen before. So I'm glad they did it before the tournament. It's just the whole movie. I kept thinking okay, this is just be like a 3-hour movie because I didn't see the runtime of the movie. I was like, this is going to be a 3-hour movie. Half the movie's going to it. And then the other half's going to be the tournament. I'm like, when's it? Oh, we're done. Like, shit, I was ready.
All right. Well, since you gave your rating at a 7.5, I'm actually going to give my rating now. I would actually say, because of some of the stuff they missed out on, some of the things they glossed over too much, and things where places they could have gone with it. I would actually give this I'd give it an 8. It was a great movie. I love it. It encased everything I wanted it to without rehashing the exact same story over and over and over again. And it did set up for something that can be epic. And I want more of you to go out there and watch this damn movie so they make more of them.
Yes. Yes, please. It was good. Watch it.
So even though I give it an 8, think of it as a 10. Go watch it. It's worth it.
What are your cons, though? What puts it to an 8 for you?
Cons would be the Arcana. It wasn't necessary. The whole process of them having to explain it made no sense. I felt the big bad in this movie.
I forgot to talk about that.
Not the big bad, but the big bad. Not the big bad that was going around kicking everyone's butt, but the big bad.
The real big bad.
Not only was it not the original actor who played the perfect Shang Tsung,
the best,
but he just
didn't have the
missing something. He was missing something. But I'm hoping in the future with this franchise that they touch upon some of our other favorite gods.
Yeah,
like
I would love Fujin.
I was just about to go there.
He's great.
Yeah.
And because I'm glad they actually cast Raiden as an Asian actor, because Raiden's supposed to be an Asian pantheon deity. And so that gives me really hope. So if they do put a Fujin in there.
All right. What's your rating?
Man, I gotta say, Mortal Kombat having no conceivable previous expectation, 90s or not, let's say I'm going to give it a solid, no holds barred 8. 8 out of 10 on the fact that I was entertained by a movie license, and 8. I got to give a separate score real quick. Gore alone, Mortal Kombat finishes, like, finish it. Cheesy or not, dude, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10, I'm sorry. Like, the film as a film, 8 out of 10. Had a few holes missing. Wasn't the greatest thing. Not Oscar worthy, but holy shit, if you're a fan. The fatalities were catered to in a way I'd never expected the film to do, and because of the fatalities alone, I'll give it a 10 out of 10. No, it's not Oscar worthy, but holy shit. Yay, you, VFX, budget, and director. All of you played a part in those fatalities, and congrats to you, the cinematographer that captured those scenes, whether CG or not. Oh my god, we saw so many iconic spine ripping, neck ripping. My favorite, the spinning hat, splitting that in half. That was a classic Mortal Kombat move if I've ever seen it, and I loved it. All right, I've said what I can say. I got a smirk or two out of Ryan, and that's all I needed. I know Nick appreciated. Word. Thank you, sir. I know Nick appreciated some of what I said, and we're going to move on. Guys, we had a lot to say about film today. No rhymes intended, no puns intended. Sorry if that was weird. Guys, but thanks for joining us. I think now is probably going to be a wrap-up time. We covered Kong versus Godzilla, and Mortal Kombat. Two big, huge films that came out this year. It was a lot of fun talking about them, a lot of the concepts, ratings, yada, yada. But, guys, real quick, just to wrap things up, you can catch all our content, video or otherwise, including shorts and other various things, reviews, written articles, and whatnot, at one wonderful site called Nerdentialsmedia.com. Forcefully cheesy, but thank you, Ryan, for joining Nick in that. I know Nick was ready.
Was going to, so I was like, is he going to do it?
No, you were waiting for Nick. He took a minute, but thank you for the encouragement anyway.
Sorry, my brain's sitting down.
Guys, aside from that, on that website, you also see links to some of our external hosts, including more regulars like Ryan himself. He does some Twitch streaming. There's links there. There will be links down below. It's Coon Cannon. And, sir, are you on any particular schedule today, Sith Lord, sir?
Currently, no. Reese kind of doing a little bit of a... One second. Let me unignite this lightsaber. There we go. I am currently rescheduling everything and rebranding my channel, as well as setting up a YouTube channel, along with some other things, doing a lot of content creation, especially working on TikTok and all these other things. All the same name, the Coon Cannon. But, well, not just Coon Cannon. KUHN But you can find me there. And
boom, right
I
there.
will be returning to my streaming schedule very soon. 3 to 4 days a week.
Right on, dude. So he will be getting back to more consistent streaming in the near future. But that being said, guys, that's going to do it for episode 106. Thanks for watching. This has been your Nerdy Essentials, and as always, my nerds, we will see you
On the
other side.